Hello and welcome to this game review. So in this one we will talk about openings and why we should not we should not play openings which do not make any sense. So after e4, d5, so already this is a mistake because black is not prepared to attack the center like this. In general, if we want to put the pawn on d5, we need a pawn on e6 or on c6 to recapture with a pawn. Otherwise, if we do it like this, then the queen will be attacked and we will be forced to move away and we will lose time. So instead black plays knight f6. White tries to hold on to the pawn, but this is not the correct approach as white is not very well developed. Instead, after a simple move such as d4, black can gain their pawn back. After c4, again the knight is not very stable in the center, black has no center control, and black is simply worse. There is no reason to play an opening like this. Instead, after c4, here black has general compensation for the pawn because he has some development advantage. He has the d4 and d3 squares, but not much more. After knight c3, e5, d3, bishop f5, black goes to get the pawn back. So this begs the question as why did we even sacrifice the pawn if the best we can do is get the pawn back? And instead here, after bishop b4, and knight f3, e4 specifically, black has somewhat of an initiative. It is quite annoying for white as he cannot get developed in time. Black might be slightly better, but this is kind of desperate play by black. We shouldn't be so desperate to gain complications from the opening. Instead, we should abide by the opening principles and try to develop. And here, knight b4, we uses the knight for the second time, and white gives up this pawn on d3, but instead attacks the one on e5. And in this position, black really had to exchange queens, unfortunately, and then go back. And at the end of this, black is a pawn down, but he has the bishop pair. He might develop with tempo, but of course, this is not enough compensation for a pawn. Instead, bishop d3, but now after knight e5, the bishop is attacked, it has to go back. And at the end of all this, black is simply worse because he is a pawn down for nothing. He does not really have any compensation. This bishop is not good enough. After castling, black plays bishop e7, which of course makes sense, but suddenly it is black who is down in development. He's also down on time, on pawns. And now, black really had to play queen d1, and it's not about playing forcing moves first. Definitely, we shouldn't always play forcing moves, but we should check forcing moves first. And here, after bishop e7, the problem is this check, after which we must stay very passive. Here, knight d7 was played, after which we are in a terrible pin. And here, the position is more or less hopeless. Instead, we should have at least played bishop d7, after which white can even exchange some pieces, exchange the queens. And of course, we are much worse here because we have no pawn, and our pieces are also not very special. So instead, knight d7, and here white is a pawn up. They have all the advantages. Our pieces are weak in the center. For knight f4, a6. The position is more or less hopeless here. After rook b8, queen a6, white is up a million pawns. We are also getting attacked here. So the rest of the game is not entirely interesting. So here, there was no reason to play such an opening, especially with such a mindset that when we sacrifice a pawn, we are trying to get the pawn back. This is not really the point of most gambits. Otherwise, we would not sacrifice in the first place. Black's idea is generally to get some kind of huge attack in the center, for example, like this, knight e4, attacking on this diagonal, and this might be somewhat annoying for white to deal with. But generally, this whole opening doesn't make sense because white could just not hold on to the pawn, take the center, normally put a pawn on c4, and the black is simply worse. For example, some people play this, but even after bishop e2 or something, there is no reason for black to want this position. So generally, we should try to get out of the opening first, and then try to gain the so-called initiative. With black, it is generally slightly more difficult because we have one less move. So we should first get developed, castle successfully, and then go from there.